Yeah. So today we are going to talk about how to import data in ServiceNow, right? Why it is important? It is important because, as we discussed earlier, we can use ServiceNow as a platform to develop custom applications as well. Now, when you are building custom applications, there could be a need to import data from outside environment into your own database within ServiceNow, right? If you have such scenario where you have to import some data from ServiceNow, you should have a tool or a way using which you can import that data within
Okay.
your ServiceNow instance, right? Import sets are one of the ways of importing data into ServiceNow. See, import set is a powerful tool used to import data from various data sources. When we talk about data sources, it could be, it could be an XML file, it could be XML file, it could be a database on some other server, stuff like that, right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think I lost somebody.
Yes, sir, I can hear.
Sure. See, see this diagram. This is external data source. This section of the diagram shows the external data source. External data source meaning different other sources from where you want to bring data into your ServiceNow environment. These are your ServiceNow tables, the ultimate tables, the target tables where you want to bring these data from the outside environment within the ServiceNow environment, right? So there is a series of steps that you do to import data into your ServiceNow tables. Okay. Now here you see the user table, the incident table, groups table, location table. Likewise, you can have your own marketing event table or any other third-party applications table or any table that you create within any user table that you create within ServiceNow, right? So when we import data from other environments, you can import that data using JDBC, Java. I think Java. Let me see what this definition is for JDBC.
Database connectivity.
Yeah, Java database connectivity. So you can use Java database connectivity protocol to connect to your ServiceNow tables and import data using this protocol. Other protocols supported are HTTP and FTP. Using HTTP and FTP, you can import data into your ServiceNow environment as well. You can use your
I love it. My internet was giving me a problem, but go ahead.
sure. You can use the Excel files to import data from Excel file into ServiceNow. You can also use CSV. You can also use XML, right? There are other ways of importing data into ServiceNow, but we'll be focusing on import sets right now. We are not talking about other ways of doing uh, data import. So let's focus on the import sets only. So like we have other components, import sets are also a component, a module, a module available within ServiceNow. If you go to Application Navigator and you do import sets, you will see the system import sets application. And within this application, you have different modules, right? Some of these modules are from administration perspective. Some of these are just to import data into your environment, right? Now, this database data import into ServiceNow can be seen from both angles. You can consider it as administrative activity. You can also consider it as developer activity, right? It totally depends how your team is organized, and then you can take it as administrative or developer, right? So let's assume that you have an Excel file. Let's go ahead and create one Excel file quickly. Let me see if I have something. Okay. Let's pick this one. I'll use this data. Okay. I'll use this data to create a table within ServiceNow. So for that, I'm going to create an Excel file. Within this Excel file, I'm going to save all these data here. See, this is some kind of table that we are storing, okay? Now I'll save this. I'll save this on my computer here. I'll name it as service offerings, and I'll save it, right? Now it's saved here, service offerings.xlsx. Now let's try to see how we can import data using this Excel file. How we can import data from this Excel file. Let's go ahead and see the load data module that you have. When you hit this load data module, and if you hover here, it says load data from a file for import to begin and import to ServiceNow, right? Now,
Okay.
now here when you come, it asks you, it says create or add to an existing import set table. Now this is the flow. When you have an external data source and you are trying to import data from this external data source, you will first import that data from the external data source into your import set table. So what is this import set table? This import set table is kind of a staging table that you have where you bring the data from external data sources first, and then after you have imported data from external data source into this import set table, you can then transform your data and then pick what fields to refer to different tables that you have here, right? You can do data transformation here. You can transform the data and then you can send that data into the target table. Little bit of transformation activity is done here. So first of all, you choose what your data source is out of the list that you have here. Bring that data into the import set table. Then apply some sort of things, some sort of algorithm or some sort of you do some activity here. This is known as transformation activity. Once you do transformation activity, you are all set to move your data to your target tables, right? That why do we need transformation? Transformation is required to make sure that you insert right data into right columns into right tables, right? So that's transformation. We will see how to transform that. Let's first see how to import data into the staging table, which is the import set table. Here on this screen, when we hit this load data module, we have a screen where it asks what import set table you want to refer to. Are you going to create a new import set table, or you are going to use existing table? If I use existing table, I'll see a list of existing import sets table available, right? I'm not going to use any of these tables because the structure of data that I have here in the Excel file might not be the same in those import sets table there. So I'm going to create a new table and I'll name it as service offerings, right? And when I name it as service offerings, the name of the table becomes X60982 marketing service offerings. For reference, I'll keep this table name here. Now, it asks you source of import. It could be a file import. So in this case, we are going to refer this file, which is an XLS file. So in this case, we are going to do file import. But alternatively, you have a data source import as well, right? We will see what data source import is. Right now, we are focused on file import. So I'll pick file import. Then it is asking you to choose the file you want to bring data from. So I'll hit browse, choose file. I'll go to the location where my file is saved, and I'll find it. Here we go. We have this service offerings XLS. Now I'll open it. Now there is a question. It asks you sheet number and header row. Now remember, your Excel file could have multiple sheets. See, sheet 1 and sheet 2, right? So you have to specify what sheet you are actually referring to bring data into your import set table, right? For example, in this Excel sheet, in Excel, this Excel book, I created just two sheets here, sheet 1 and sheet 2. In sheet 2, I created some more data, some more records. In sheet 1, I only have 11 records here, right? So I have to specify which sheet you want to refer to. I'm going to put sheet number 1, and then it is asking you what is the header row that you want to specify. Obviously, the header row for our case is row number 1, right? So we'll specify for this header row 1, I'll specify 1 here, which means when we start importing, ServiceNow will automatically consider this as a header row and create columns based on these header rows that you have in the header column. Let's do that. Let's submit this one now. When I submit this, so import processor is working actually, and this import processor imported the data from the Excel file. It created a table here. Name of the table was this service offering table, right? And now it says it processed 11. 11 inserts were done. 0 update is done. Error 0. Empty and ignored 0. So that's the summary of the activity that we just did, right? So it actually inserted 11 rows from this table. We had 11 rows here. So all of these rows, 11 rows were inserted into the table here. You can go ahead and check in the loaded data section. When I hit this loaded data, it opens up the loaded data, the table. See, the table name created here is service offerings. And now you can see the 11 data that you have inserted here. Right now it is showing you some default system columns. You can go ahead and pick the columns that you are interested into. I leave row set, and I'll remove this, this. I'll go ahead and pick the tables that I wanted to have. Service column, sorry. Service offerings first, devices, framework, technology, testing tools. That's it. And I'll save it. Now see, this is bringing data from the Excel sheet. See, within service offerings we have CTVs, hybrid mobile, Macintosh, Xbox, Chromecast. See, Apple TV, Macintosh, Xbox. Chromecast, CDVs, all this data is here, right? Within devices, you have LG, Sony, Samsung for CTV, LG, Sony, Samsung, Philips, etc. for CTV, right? For hybrid mobile, you have phone and tablet. If you go here, you have phone and tablet. And for reference project, you have Comcast, right? So let me see, we haven't included the reference project. I can go ahead and pick reference project and save it here. See, reference project for hybrid mobile is Comcast, right? For Roku, it is Weather Nation, Xbox Sling, Comcast Sling, Android Weather Nation, iOS Weather Nation, Windows Sling, etc. Some sort of data that we have imported here, right? Some vague data from the Excel sheet. So this way, if you have data in Excel sheet, you can bring that data within your ServiceNow instance using this import set tool. Okay? Any question as of now?
Sir, can we import the data from other sources like Notepad or something? Word.
Notepad,
Only
see,
from these.
Notepad you do not have a structured data. Notepad meaning text file. So you cannot do any
Yeah.
import from the text file because you do not have a pattern. You can,
Okay.
however, import data from the CSV file or XML file, right? So use these
Only
file
these
format.
five.
Yeah, use
Like.
these file format.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Any other question? Sam or Shweta? Okay. Hey, Sam is still with me? Looks like we lost him. Now this was to load data. We are now able to see that 11 records were loaded and we can see here. Now, after you import the data using this import set, you are also able to see the import logs. If I hit this link, open it, I'm going into the import logs and see this import log. I'll duplicate it. When I go in here, I can see this import log from here as well. I'll go to logs. I'll scroll down a bit and then I'll do imports. When I do imports, I can see all the import logs created on today. Right? So this is one way of doing that. Alternately, you hit this import log link here, it opens up and shows the logs in a window. See? The sources, data source, loader, data source cleanup, and some of the information that system uses internally. So that's import log. The next one is import sets. If you hit import sets, it shows you the information about the current import set and other import sets. And it shows you information like it says, see, the first set has been loaded, the state is changed to load, right? So the first set has loaded. So this is what it's saying. It is saying that data is imported from Excel file. The type of the import was file, and format was Excel. Data was imported using that Excel file. The state of the import is loaded, and data was imported into this import table. Data source was this XLS file, created on this, loaded, computed, and load runtime 0 seconds. Right? You can always go ahead and hit this I set 1 to see the information about the set that you worked right now. See, it will show you the 11 records that it's inserted, right? If you go ahead and rerun that same step, it will create another set here. The number I set 001, 1001 will change and another set will be created here, right? And then you can access those data using different sets that's created, right? Which is very, very nice to have here, right? So you can go ahead and look into the set level information. Now let's see what transform map is. By definition, it says a transform map links the imported data and fields to the target table. If I hit this create transform map, it brings me to this screen where it automatically selects the source table as the import set table that we chose. And then you have ability to select a target table, the table from the ServiceNow database, right? Because this is the staging table, you will ultimately get rid of this table. You will not like to use this table for for application processes, for application activities or storing data. So you will have your own transaction table created for this, right? Let's go ahead and put a transaction table in place for that service offering, because I do not know any table right now that is able to have those kind of columns. So I'll open a duplicate window here, go to tables and columns. I'll create a table here. Let's make sure that we make it in global application. So I'll make it global and then I'll make it as service offering. And see, this time the table name is different. Earlier we had this as service offering table, which is this is the import set table. Let's mark it as import set table. And this is application. Okay. So this becomes our target table. Our ultimate goal is to bring data imported from the Excel sheet into this target table. I'm not going to create any module for this table, so I'll leave it as is. Let's go ahead and create some columns according to the specification we have here in this table. The first one is service offerings. I'll mark this as services. The other one is type. Type here will be string. Rest I'll leave blank. Devices, string. Mark it as project. String again. Technology. Framework. So this is all a string table, right? I now have a table created. I'll save it. That has columns similar to what we had in this Excel file, right? Now, in our case, the source is Excel file. We imported data from this source Excel file to import set table, and the import set table is this one. Now the second step is this was step one. Second step is to transform data imported from this table. See this diagram? We imported this data into this import set table. The second step is to transform the data, right? Now we are going to transform the data here. To transform, we are onto this table transform map page. I'm going to reload it so that the new table that I have created will be displayed here in the target table, right? So now we are going to transform the data so that we can import data from this import set table into the target table, right? Which in our case is the target table is uservice underscore offering. Okay, let's see if we have that table here. See, we can now find this table here. Service offering. I'll select the service offering here. The import set table was created in the scope of marketing event application, so I'm not able to see that here. Let me quickly see. I'll go to load data we are done. Yeah, I'll go to this import set, run transform, and I'll pick the import set from here. And it says there are no transformation maps for the selected import set, so you can go ahead and create one. When you choose create one, it should bring me the transform. It should be bring me the import set here. Let me see. It looks like some scoping issue. Let's try. If I do transform from here, it is not showing me this. Go to marketing event application. Yeah, so it was scoping issue. I had to choose that marketing event application. Now I can see this service offering table, which is our import set table, and I should be able to find. Oh, okay. See, I should have created that table in the marketing event scope. So there's slight issue that I just created. The table that we created, we should have created that within this scope. So let's try to see if we can get rid of that. If I go into the service offering table, try to edit the table. I think I'm unable to change this now. So I'll have to create a new table into the same scope. This looks like a scoping issue. Okay, I'll have to get rid of this. I'll have to get rid of this table. I wrongly chose the global application there, so I'm unable to find that table there. Bear with me. But do you understand the issue that I am facing right now? Shweta, Avi?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is scoping issue. I created the table in wrong scope. I created it globally, and the other table was in the marketing events application scope. So we are having which is a security feature, right? So scoping issues are there. So I'll go ahead and take marketing events application now, create a table named service offering. This time it has to be different because we already created that table. So I think we can change this. Will not. I hope it will not allow us to do this. But try. Let's try. Now it will not allow us to do this. So I'll have to. I can get rid of this. So let's keep this table. I think this. Oh, this is not allowing me to do that. Let's put an S to make the table different. So I'll make this service offerings. So now our target table becomes this, right? This is our target table. Do not create module. Go here. Mark this service or services. String device. Then we have project. Let's intentionally leave these two columns, or maybe one column. So I'll keep tools here, and let's purposefully leave the last column, which is testing tools. I'm not going to create that here, and we'll see why we do that. I just created this. Hope the application scope is correct. Yeah, this is marketing event application. Let's save it. Let's go back, reload the form. Now I have the service offerings table. I can't see this full name. Now Let's name the transform map as service offering transformation. Created date is today. Let's keep it active. Run business rules. I'm going to leave this run business rules right now because we haven't talked about business rules. I'm also going to leave this run script, right? I'm not going to enforce mandatory fields. If I do this, the columns which are mandatory, you know, it will mandatorily ask for data import into that column. We do not have a requirement of that kind right now, so we'll leave this, and we'll leave copy empty fields as well, and I'll try to submit it, right? So the transformation map that we created is service offering transformation, right? The service offering transformation. Now let's go ahead and run this transformation. If I do transform, hang on a second, I'll have to go into this import set table here. Let's look into this table for a second, which is our target table. There are no records right now. See the service offering tables, we do not have any record. But if we go into this import set table, we have this 11 records, right? Now, let's go into import sets. These are import set rows. We are not going to reprocess. We'll go into transformation map.
Sorry.
Right. So we have this transformation map created. Now you have to specify what field should be mapped to what field into the target table, right? So for that you have this mapping assist. If you scroll down a little bit and you see this mapping assist, I hit this mapping assist. When you do that, you will see all the columns from the source table here and also all the columns from the target table here. And then you have to map which column to be mapped to or which column from the target table, right? So let's go ahead and find those things. So first of all I'll do is I'll pick services here and I'll bring service offerings. So these are the two columns that we want to map. We want that the data from the service offerings field in the import set table should go into the service column into the target table. So for that we brought those two fields one to one in front of each other, right? Let's pick the devices, and then I'll pick device from here in the target table. So devices is mapped to device. Let's pick framework, and framework should be mapped to framework. Let's pick technology, and it should be mapped to technology. Testing tools, remember we left testing tool, and the reason I left testing tool is there could be a scenario where you do not have a field within your target table, but you have any extra field into the import set table, right? If you do not have that field in your target table and you do not require that data into the target table, you may opt not to have that field there, right? That's the point of leaving that column. We didn't create that column there in the table, right? So testing tool I'm not going to import. Project, I'll hit reference projects here and I'll bring project here. So this is the mapping we have done, right? Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is mapping, one-to-one mapping that we are doing into different
Yeah.
columns. Yeah, different columns from the source table and the target table. Let's save it now. We now have a field map created, right? This field map describes itself, right? Now we are ready to run the transformation. Since that we have created the field map now, we are ready to run the transformation. If we hit the transform button here, transform link, it will start transforming data. It will bring the data from the source table into the target table. Let's try to do that. And remember, we didn't have any record in that table as of now. See, service offerings, the one with an S in the back, in the last. If I go and do service offerings.list, I do not have any single record into this table, which is our target table. Let's try to transform now. The system is transforming, just saying no import set is available. Okay. Import set. Wait a second. The reason is this import set is marked as processed. I'll change the state as loaded. Go back to transform. Open this transformation. Let's try to transform now. It is now available for transformation. Let's do this transformation. It is now transforming and it says transformation is complete. This set from the import set is loaded, right? If I go back here and reload the table, it is now bringing the 11 records from the table, from the source table. See, I don't have the testing tools column here. See, I only have device, framework, project, service, technology, tools, and these are the default columns. But I don't have column for testing tools. We didn't create that here. We didn't specify that in the transformation map, although the import set table had that column there, right? So we excluded that that column from the import set table while we were bringing data into the ServiceNow target table, right? Now, even if you release that data from the import set table by using this cleanup module, you have this within the import set, you have this cleanup module. If you hit this cleanup module, go into here and then delete these tables. If you clean up, if you delete, you have options: delete the related transform maps, delete data only, right? If you delete data only, the data will be deleted from the import set table, right? And it says cleanup completed. If I go back to the import set table, which is this one in our case, and I'll do .list, it will show 0 records here. So this import set table now has no records. It has 0 records. But if I go to the stage, the ServiceNow transactional table, the user table that we created, see offerings.list, I can still see the 11 records, right? So this signifies, this says to us that we use the import set table as a staging table, and using that staging table, we transform the data that we imported there, and after transformation, we brought that data into the target table, and once the data is there in the target table, we can then go ahead and release that table. You can go ahead and delete that table as well, right? I'll uncheck this, delete data only, preserve table structure. And I'll check this, delete related transformation map, right? So this will delete the transformation map as well. Because if we do not have this table, we don't require the transformation map. So I'll delete the table and I'll also delete the transformation map. If I go back to import sets, see I do not have any import sets here. If I go to transformation map, I do not have that transformation map for service offering, right? But if I go back to that table, if I go and find this table now, since we have deleted, we will not have this table. It will say that the table is not there. If I go and look for the target table, it will show us the target table, right, which is the actual table here. This actual table is the transactional table. So this way, you can utilize import set to bring data within ServiceNow system using any of the file formats, right? Now, an assignment for you is to create import sets, two import sets, or let's say three import sets. One is to import data using Excel file, another one is using CSV file, third one is XML file. You can download sample Excel file, sample CSV file or sample XML file, create target tables accordingly. Then you can create import sets and a transformation map and import data into your instances. So your assignment for the day will be to create these three import sets, three target tables, and import data using each of these, Excel, CSV, and XML. We'll talk about these two later, right? But for today, you have to do Excel, CSV, and XML. Will you be able to do that?
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you. Sam?
So you
Yeah,
create it like in the Excel table,
yeah,
and then the other one you save it as a CSV file.
yeah. CSV or XML file.
Okay.
See, you can find sample XML file from here. Let's download it. Go here from Microsoft.com. You can download sample books.xml maybe. Let's take example of books.xml, right? You can copy this data. So here you have export. So you can use this export. I don't know if it is exporting or not. It is not saving. So you can copy this data and you can paste in, let's say, this Notepad++. Now you have the XML data here. You can go ahead and save it. Books and choose XML here, right? Now you have saved this books.xml. Okay. Now within your instance, you have to import using this load data module. You have to create a new import set table. Choose books.xml from here. See, and then you have to bring that data from here. Right? Try doing that. Try using books.xml. Try using any other Excel file or CSV file. CSV file will be, I hope you are able to, I hope you know what CSV file is. It's basically a comma separated file. It contains data which is separated by commas, right? So try doing that. You can open CSV file in text, any text editor. You can also open CSV file in any um, Excel as well, right? So try doing that using a CSV file, Excel file, and XML, and we'll talk about it tomorrow.